Last week we conducted our first campaign interview with Julia Gillard. Tonight it's Tony Abbott's turn. I spoke with him just a short time ago in our Sydney studio. Tony Abbott, today's Treasury figures on the economic outlook again project that the budget will return to surplus 3 years early in 2012-13. That's the end of government debt that you're banging on about. The first developed country to be out of the red and back in the black after the global economic crisis. Now, where does that leave your attack on Labor debt?
Well, there's still an enormous amount of wasteful spending, Kerry, an enormous amount of wasteful spending, and I wanted to end the waste, as you know, to pay back the debt, to stop the big new taxes and to stop the boats.
But the budget will be back in the black 3 years earlier than originally scheduled, and Australia avoided a recession.
That's if you assume, Kerry, that the government can avoid more of these spending blowouts that we've seen so many of, if they can avoid another pink bats disaster, if they can avoid another school halls rip-off program, if they can do all of that, sure, if their assumptions are right, sure, this will happen. But I don't think anyone can be confident, given the record of this government, that that'll turn out the way they say.
Do you think it's fair to acknowledge, though, that this was a very particular, unique, I think probably in Australia's history, release of cash spending to prop up the economy in a global economic crisis, that with the speed at which that money was going to be got out there, whether it was cash handouts or whether it was money being spent in a hurry, that inevitably some of it would be wasted?
I don't think you can ever justify waste, Kerry, and certainly where the Pink Bats program was concerned, the government had literally 20-odd warnings that there were all sorts of problems coming, and where the school hall program has been concerned, OK, maybe they couldn't have anticipated everything at the beginning, but they've had plenty of warnings since it started, but they haven't really adjusted it properly. Now,
you, by comparison, paint yourself as a man of great fiscal discipline, as somebody who can be trusted to run a tight budget ship. Well, Peter Costello wrote this about you in his memoirs, quote, "Tony always saw himself as something of a romantic figure, a Don Quixote ready to take on lost causes and fight the great principles, never one to be held back by the financial consequences of decisions. He had grandiose plans for public expenditure." Now, has this leopard changed his spots?
Look, I had a very genial encounter with Peter the other day, and I was able to tell him that instead of channeling B.A. Santa Maria, I'm now channeling